yeah, I think that was a mistake. I've forgotten exactly what hand I didn't 3-bet fold, but I think that would have helped me in this spot here. And we do get a fold. I fold a few. And here we pick up the sevens. Again, decide to peel here. Don't really like the idea of 3-betting this kind of a stack size. Maybe he is likely to be 4-bet bluffing a lot more when we 3-bet him here than 4-betting for value. A lot of his sort of medium to decent value hands are probably likely to call my 3-bet. But I still don't particularly want to 3-bet 5-bet shove, so I'm still pretty happy just calling here. And probably calling all 3 of these reshoves. He checks it to us on ace-king 5. I think a lot of weak aces are likely to do this, and maybe a king-queen, and then give-ups. So I think if we check back here, it's pretty hard for us to win the pot. So I think I probably like just making a fairly small stab here, and maybe trying to barrel the turn to push him off a king. But I think that, yeah, if we check back here, there's not much we can do on the turn if he leads other than fold, and that's what happens, and pretty annoying. So I think that, yeah, I make a bit of a small mistake there, not just betting in position. Like, I want to be betting in position a pretty huge percentage, as a lot of people now don't want to get floated, so they're going to be check folding the flop a lot. So I just want to keep him in that kind of routine, and I think, yeah, just checking back there is a little weak, and we surrender the pot. Not the biggest thing, but I think a bet is better. So a few folds, and we open the ace-3 off and get some folds. Fold the a7 off. I'm okay with this. I mean, it's pretty similar spot to the hand before, but that one extra hand obviously is made me think to fold, or maybe it's because this guy's on the button and kind of opening myself up to get attacked. But do just decide to fold, which I'm okay with. Definitely could have opened, seemingly getting a lot of folds, so probably should have just keep my foot on the gas. But again, we open the 2s and no action. Let's see what happened with king queen. Here we open to 16,000 from the small blind against this. We'll have a look at his stats first. 17, 14, 11 from 209. VPIV PFR 3-bet, just if that wasn't clear. So his 3-bets from the big blind are pretty big. He has that reshove stack at the moment, or this is kind of where I find a bit, I get a bit confused. But anyway, we'll get to that. So he seemingly, these are probably some reshoves and some 3-bets. Oh, sorry, this is folding. What am I doing? Yeah, some 3-bets, which could be shoves 2 out of 8. But he has been sort of deeper stacked for the most part of the video. But yeah, so here he has about 20, what does he have? He has about 25 big blinds. And he shoves. So what does he shove for 25 big blinds? I would say pairs worse than... I think if he's shoving 7s is a pretty big mistake. Even 6s he could induce. So we'll say that he's shoving 6s and not, and we'll assume, what do we do? I think he will 3-bet induce 7s. I also think he should be 3-bet inducing anything ace-10 off and better. He should be inducing ace-9 and better. Like, we'll say he can induce ace-9 and better. So we'll say he shoves these hands 2. Maybe he doesn't shove ace-2, ace-3, ace-4 off. I think that's pretty ugly. We'll give him those same aces suited. And then I think it is a king-queen off, perhaps, a king-queen suited. Then it's all of these hands. Maybe a king-9 suited, maybe a king-8 suited, maybe a king-9 off. I think it's somewhere around that is what I assume him to not want to 3-bet call. So we will see how we are doing with the king queen off against that. And I think it's reasonably profitable. If he is less likely, say he doesn't shove these, doesn't shove this, he may defend a jack 10 off. Let's see how we're doing against that kind of a range. So we're still beating that kind of a range. Let's say he doesn't shove. I'm trying to make it harder. I'm trying to reduce the number of reshove hands he has to make how tight does he have to be for me to not want to call this shove with king queen off. So we're obviously losing to all of it. I think we can leave it at that. I think that's a pretty accurate range that he wouldn't want to 3-bet induce. As a lot of my kind of ace, I would make this open size with a lot of the range that I want to 4-bet shove over a 3-bet against this stack. I think when he has 25 big blinds, he maybe has slightly too many. I mean, it's okay for me to limp shove on a raise. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of hands that I want to raise shove, which would include a lot of suited aces, small pairs, king 10 suited, a lot of those kind of hands. So obviously this shove just doesn't make any sense with a better hand than mine. Okay, a couple of raggy aces, but a lot of hands that we dominate or potentially flip against. So we do call and somehow get shown ace queen off, which obviously I guess every now and then the stats that look fairly normal lie, and this is just a horrific shove from him, but we are punished by it, and we managed to flop pretty good, but I think maybe justice is done and he gets half his chips back. But I just don't think I should ever really be folding based on what range I think is going to make that enormous reshove. But we do get away with it, so we'll take that. Here again, we 3-bet to 25,500 against this guy. He's so short that we want to just give him every rope to 4-bet shove here. He does, but he has a good one, and we lose. Somehow a 9 doesn't come with how I'm running at the moment. But there we go. At least in this tournament. So anyway, here I think I have a pretty good spot to 4-bet. This guy's going to be light here a lot. Don't think I need to go into this too much. We'll have a little look at his 3-bets. So he 3-bets the button decently often, I guess. But yeah, I think just a very good spot, a good hand to do it with. He's going to have a lot of... This has quite a few blockers to some of the hands he would be inducing here. I think let's think what the worst hand he's going to want to induce here with. I think he's probably going to end up 3-bet, 5-bet shoving potentially. If that is in, he has definitely a range that isn't that great that would 3-bet, 5-bet shove, which maybe hampers my 4-bet a little, as those are going to be kind of suited broadways and small pairs, which if he's feeling stubborn again, he's just going to shove over my 4-bet. But anyway, I still think it's a good spot, and we make it 53k here, and he calls, which is odd with this stack. Maybe I could have made it a little bigger here to stop him calling, but I just felt like we're going to have a polarized range in his stack short enough that he would just be shoving for value and folding his air. But he does call, and we get an ace-high flop, which I think is pretty good for us. I don't expect him to have many aces unless he has aces. When I say that, I mean I don't expect him to be doing this ever with... I mean, does he do this with like an ace-4 suited kind of hand? I don't think so. So it is aces as in 2 aces rather than ace-x that I think he's going to show up with here if he has got one. Yeah, I mean, I just think that ace-10, ace-10 plus is just going to 5-bet shove, so don't really see any reason for him to be calling those, but, I mean, you never know. So here we just go for 38k. I don't think I need to go this big. I think this is fine, probably just a third pot, pretty standard, and he does call. The turn is a 3, and we don't have many outs against his perceived range, but then there are a lot of floats, I think, at this stage. I just think that... do I think there's a lot of floats? I did at the time think there were a lot of floats. Just felt like he can't have an ace ever unless he has aces, and it's hard to have aces. So we double barrel. I just go 35 this time. There's no reason. I mean, this has the same implication to his stack. He knows it's all going in, and I just think that I get him to fold his floats here. And he doesn't. So we lose. But yeah, just an interesting situation where I just didn't expect him to be flatting too many aces, and maybe could be, if he is flatting pre against the 4-bet, a cold 4-bet, maybe he is intending on floating to take it away on the turn, which is exactly what he did. But I felt that maybe my second barrel would slow him down, but it didn't. So nice hand him. Here we fold the ace-8 off. With my image from the previous hand, I don't really like 3-bet folding. I could in other circumstances, but I think just given what's just happened, I probably prefer just shoving or folding here, and I think ace-8 off's a little weak, so we let it go. And I don't believe this is the final table yet, so I'll hopefully get us... I've been rambling a bit this episode, but I'll hopefully try and get us somewhere near the final table for the last part. So here I open the king-9 off from my short stack. I think that's okay. Just see how many people are in the hand. Sorry. Okay, so we've only got one person missing here. I think this is okay. I think I kind of like this. We do get defended and check back this king-high board. I think a lot of his defending range is doing okay against us, so I just decided to check back and maybe let him go with complete air on the turn, which I'm hoping at this point. He checks the river, and we check it back, and luckily for us, this guy didn't make the most standard reshove in history, and lets us get back into the tournament somehow. A few folds. Pretty easy reshove, I think, here, with just about 17 big blinds. Jack-9 off is a bit too good to fold to a small blind open, but we do get called by the ace-king suited, and luckily for us, we double up. But I think this guy's been active enough for us to be reshoving there. We'll just have a look at his small blind raise first. So only 32 out of 6, but yeah, I mean, I just can't fold Jack-9 off. It's just too good a hand. Maybe there are some slightly nittier folds I could have made there against seeing that, but I just think that, 33 is enough. And against my stack size, maybe that 33 is, and from only 6 hands as well, maybe it's 100% against this. No, it should be 100% against that stack size. So here we get 3 bets from this guy. I will have a little look at his button 3-bet when it loads. Okay, so fairly consistent, balanced looking 3-betting from most positions. I think just with the sizing and my stack size, I could 4-bet here, but just decide to give this one up. I don't know how I feel about that. I think maybe it's a bit spewy to just stick in 75k, 72k here, and kind of put myself in a bit of a kind of... I think to protect my 30-something X stack is probably more important here than trying to take the 70k that's in there. So we do let that one go. But definitely wouldn't have hated a 4-bet from me there. A few folds. We'll see what happens to the Jack-8 suited. Mid-position open. Don't like defending from that stack size too often. Here this guy ships the 15x, and we obviously have a very easy get-in with ace-king off. And sadly we don't get there, so we are down to 7 big blinds. Don't think I can fold the king-10 off.